What a lovely morning. I was intending to head to Wales, but I'm also suffering from a severe lack of get up and go. So I thought I'd come a little bit more local, and I'm up in North Yorkshire. And I have Amanda Dean to thank for this. Thanks, Amanda. I'll pop a link up to her website because she's got some really good images. She's one of my subscribers on my channel, and she messaged me to say, did I know about this little place? No. The only problem was, once I started Googling, I found about another 30 places. But I have limited I am limiting myself today to 3 of them. Well, maybe 3. 2 for definite, because I think they're just small, and possibly a third one which I haven't been to in, 3 years apparently. Time flies when you're having fun. It's a glorious autumn day. Driving up the motorway, the trees on the edge of the motorway were absolutely glorious autumn colour. It's kind of died off a little bit here. The promise for the weather was overcast and cloudy, so obviously we have bright blue skies and sunshine. You can't beat it, can you? But we shall see what we shall see. Now, I'm told that this is, oh, probably got a dirty bum there, quite a hike to my first location. It's approximately only about 100 yards. But after the last couple of weekends in glorious Wales, I think I deserved a little bit of a rest. So I've got my welly gogs on. I must say, I bought these a couple of weeks ago. They were on offer at Go Outdoors, and the muck boots. And they're a funky purpley pink colour, which I absolutely love. And they are the warmest things ever. I've been desperate for a pair of decent Wellingtons for, years. And I finally pensioned off my £5 specials from Shoe Zone, the funky leopard print ones. And these really are incredibly warm and fairly grippy as well, so can't be bad. Right, I'm going to put my jacket on, chuck my rucksack on, and head off and see if I can find this this water. I can hear it. Yes, let's go. Talking to you about what I've just been doing, I think that's wonderful in one way, that a 5-year-old is thinking to plant a tree. Magnificent. And then some scroats have come along and vandalised it. Ridiculous. What is wrong with these people? Anyway, rant over. That is the place I want to be, down there. But I am fully conscious that is blatantly private property. The fence, I walked across this little bridge, which is rather wonderful, hooked a right at the top and walked down to the end, and that fence has just been creosoted, the smell. And that's really where I'd like to be. But not only is there a new fence, there's new wire and there's barbed wire. So they don't want people going over there. Now this hasn't been secured quite so much. This is just a normal fence. But I'm still conscious that maybe I shouldn't. So what I was doing just now was having a wander around to see if I could find some compositions before I get my camera out. There's no colour down here. It's bizarre. There's fallen leaves on the floor, and it amazes me that they stick to the rocks like they do. They must be stuck with super glue, because the water is fair trapping. The leaves are just sat there. It looks like the cloud cover has come over. There's nothing worse when you're at a waterfall than getting highlights. And when I was walking round, this area was lighting up. The sun was breaking through the clouds. So I think it's going to be a dodge game. Dodge the bright blue sky bits and keep that. With that now in shade, a shot from over there is possible. So I'm going to get the camera set up, and instead of talking, I'm going to get some images done. Sometimes the compositions you think will be the easiest to compose really do take forever. I've been faffing around at this little first image for about 20-25 minutes now, zooming in, zooming out, tweaking left and right, moving the tripod a millimetre, 2 millimetres, just trying to get exactly the composition I'm after. I think I've managed it. It's not brilliant, partly because, or maybe I'm biased, I don't know, it's not pretty. There are very few leaves down here. The greenery is still green. I know that sounds daft. We've got no colour on the trees. This one behind me is starting to go, but these over here aren't. We've got fallen leaves, and that's about it. Now the fall itself isn't the most pretty. It looks very man-made. We've got the road bridge up here, and these are square blocks. So it could be man-made, or maybe those are reinforcements because they wanted to stop the granite or the cliff faces and falling in on themselves. But they're very square, those blocks, and I don't think that's natural made. I think that's more man-made. But I'll take you down and show you what I've been fiddling around with for the last 20 minutes. Now I'm shooting in portrait orientation, so it's going to be quite difficult to show you. But essentially, if I get down here, you might have a better idea. What I've tried to do is include these bits here, along with, oh look, I wonder where that leaf appeared from. And then they lead back and up to the main event. And I'm kind of finishing the composition there, because above here we've got sky breaking through, which doesn't look very nice. It's really difficult to make this work, but I think we've got it. I've got roughly kind of that view coming in, and I think that's sufficient. I've done a 6-stop image to blur the fall at the back, because I want that blurry, but then I've done an image with just the polarizer. Let me just tilt this down a bit, just to keep some movement in here. I'm going off this area being really, really smooth. Let me see if I can show you on the screen. Pull that out. I knew I'd find a use for this articulated screen. There we go. So we're at F10, 30 seconds, and that's the one with movement in the lower area down here, and we're at 1/3 of a second. Spot on Google. Whilst I was searching Harnby Falls, which is where we've just been, it brought up a list of other ones, and I thought, well, while I'm in the area I might as well come and have a look. Had no idea what to expect. there's not a lot here. I did expect the water to be a lot more volume of water than there actually is, given how much rain we've had just recently. But hey, you can't have it all. There's a lovely arch up there where you drive over on the road, and there's a lovely pub, which I think I might have to go and partake of some food. Haven't had any dinner yet. And I wish the candle shop was open, because I like candles. We spend a fortune on homemade candles. So yeah, there's not a lot here. This is going to be a long exposure with the 10 stop, because the 10 stop helps to create the illusion that there's actually more. It doesn't look too bad there, but when you're looking at it with your naked eye, there's not a lot of water coming down there. It's very dark, very dank, there's very little colour. There's some beautiful ivy trailing down this side, and down here there is a puddle full of yellowy orange leaves, but they're not really moving. That's kind of just going to be a blur. But I'm going to set up and see what I can find composition wise. You do, from the looks of it, have the option to scrabble down the side and get really low down, but I don't think that's going to help. There's a nice tree stump just here. That could make some nice foreground interest, I think, but I'm not sure it's worth the scrabble down. So I'm going to get set up what I can do here, and then I'll come back to you. Now the observant among you will have noticed that I said 10 stops. I actually meant 6 stops. And as I say, the 6 stop, or using a longer exposure, gives the impression that there's more water than there actually is. I've popped the 0.6 soft grad on, and I've, excuse me, slipped. I've pulled it down. Let me just tilt that up. Just around here, because that's really bright. Tilt you back down again. And whilst I want it to remain bright, because the beech tree up there is beautiful, I don't want it looking like an image of too hard. I've popped the polarizer on. I thought that was running an exposure, but it wasn't. Having an absolute mare today, let me tell you. Right, we are at F9. I have up the ISO to 200, and we're going to be on around about a minute, I suspect. The beech tree, as I was saying before I decided to go off on a tangent, is beautiful colour compared with the rest of this, which is really dark and dank, and that's just a splash of colour, which is marvellous. It's like a proper little fairy grotto down here. Perfect weather conditions for waterfalls. Overcast, murky, and down here, not a breath of wind, which is wonderful. So I'm just going to let this exposure run. I think that's it. I do. I might come back to in a minute and talk some more, I don't know. We'll see how this image works out first. And that's me done. Time to go and get my arm sorted out. 2 locations, North Yorkshire, beautiful part of the country, and both fairly easily accessible. You wouldn't get a wheelchair down here, but if you're reasonably stable on your feet, you can make it. The first one at Harnby is part of a lovely walk. This one is just a little fall to visit. There are a few more compositions that I could get if I wanted to go further down, but with a lot more water. And as I say, I'm surprised at how little water there is here. Thanks for coming along. I put my thumb up, but it hurt. And I will see you all next weekend. No, not rather foggy is what we're going to be doing, but we'll be shooting something, I'm sure. See you soon. Bye.